My name is Anastasia Lin. I am a Canadian actress. I've taken on roles in film and television shows that depict human rights abuses in China. And to prepare, I speak with those who have suffered, including Falun Gong practitioners. These are not criminals. These are people who believe in truthfulness, compassion, and tolerance. I wanted to speak for those in China who are beaten, burned, electrocuted for holding their beliefs. People in prison who eat rotten food with blister fingers because they dare have conviction. I campaigned for the title Miss World Canada on a human rights platform. Recent events leave me worried for my family who are still in China. I had to choose between silence and my hope for a better China. And then I remembered, silence helps no one. Silence feeds terror. I think if every Chinese can speak up and let the Chinese government know that when they do such things, they will have a cost.
So yes, I am a beauty queen. And when the government of China declared me persona non grata, I literally have to go check on Wikipedia what it meant. It literally means an unwelcome person is the highest level of diplomatic punishment. So you're probably wondering how this happened. So let me start from the beginning. I was born in China, and when I lived there, I believed everything I was taught. So I was encouraged to pledge allegiance to the ruling Communist Party. Then I moved to Canada, and I was given the rarest gift, a chance to reconstruct my outlook on the world. So I wanted to learn about what was hidden from me. So I searched all the terms that our school teachers told us to avoid. I watched videos of the brutal 1989 suppression of democracy activists in Tiananmen Square. I watched how the tanks drove over the courageous Chinese youth, marching on Tiananmen Square, trying to better the nation's future. And this is an event that has almost been erased from Chinese people's mind. Information about it is strictly censored. I've also learned about the persecution of Falun Gong. In the late 1990s, tens of millions, actually according to Chinese Communist official data, is 70 million to 100 million Chinese people were practicing Falun Gong. That's 1/10 of the Chinese population. This is a peaceful meditation practice rooted in the Buddha school. And they believe in the principle of truthfulness, compassion, and tolerance. So they're just like yoga practitioners with a belief. And it just offered an alternative to communist atheist dogma and promotion of money worship. And so initially, it was even supported by the government as a way to improve health. But unfortunately, Falun Gong's popularity and its independence from state control came to be viewed as a threat by the ruling party, challenging its absolute control over the hearts and minds of Chinese citizens. As anyone who's familiar with Chinese modern history would know, the party tolerates absolutely no ideological challenge, however benign. And so in 1999, the party declared Falun Gong an evil cult and intend to eradicate it, and launched a systematic and sustained persecution that permeates every level of society. In a recent report, Freedom House wrote that hundreds of thousands of Falun Gong practitioners have been imprisoned without trial, making them the largest group of prisoners of conscience in China, if not the world. And the party has officially sanctioned the use of torture and violence to force them to renounce their beliefs, resulting in a huge number dying in custody. A far-reaching campaign of propaganda and misinformation has been used to vilify and dehumanize Falun Gong practitioners, comparing them to vermin that must be exterminated. What does that remind you of? Not long ago. After learning this, I realized that I have been lied to all my life. Under the influence of China's state-run media and education system, I was made to feel hate and contempt toward the people who are my country's true heroes, the people who are willing to risk their lives for principles. Worse still, I was made to participate in the indoctrination of others. As a student leader, one of my roles was to organize my classmates to watch hatred propaganda videos. The party tries to make all Chinese people complicit in his crimes. Learning about that you have been deceived for so long is a profound indignity. That's why maybe many Chinese people struggle to learn the truth after even they come out of China. It is a profound embarrassment to know that your entire belief system was based on a lie. But once I came to understand this fact, I wanted to take action. I wanted to find ways to defy the system of censorship and violence that the party has constructed. I wanted to stand up for the brave Chinese citizens who have been threatened, jailed, and vilified for their principles. And I wanted to offer hope to those whose dignity has been taken from them, like my father. And so eventually I chose acting as a medium for this effort. I looked for roles that moved me and shed light on what is happening in China. The films and television projects I worked on depict things such as media censorship, corruption, like those that led to shoddy school buildings that crushed thousands of children in the Sichuan earthquake. Some people believe that I have already damaged my career by taking these roles. Many Chinese actors who were offered parts in these productions backed out over fears of a reprisal from the Chinese Communist Party. In one of my films, I depicted a Falun Gong practitioner who was imprisoned and tortured in a labor camp. And because she refuses to renounce her belief, she was killed in custody and her organs sold for profit. As harrowing as this might sound, this actually happened to thousands of prisoners of conscience in China. Consider this: China performs far in excess of 10,000 organ transplants per year. And even that number is political. Yet there were virtually no voluntary organ donation system in China before the year 2015. In the United States, a median wait time for a liver in 2006 was 321 days. But in China, hospitals have been aggressively recruiting transplant tourists, promising that within a few thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars, they could get a kidney, a lung, a liver, pancreas, or heart within a couple of weeks. How are the Chinese government able to locate live donors of the same blood type within a few hours and able to take the organs on demand? The authorities say that the organs come from mostly death row inmates, people who convicted of capital crimes. But there aren't nearly enough death row inmates in China to supply the growth of the massive transplant industry after the year 2000. Noting this disparity, researchers conducted investigation into the true source of the organ, and they concluded that tens of thousands of innocent political prisoners, including Falun Gong practitioners, Uyghurs, Tibetans, house Christians, have been killed so their organ could be harvested and sold. Learning about these facts was deeply humbling and fundamentally changed me. I came to feel like my role was to be their voices and to speak for those who was disenfranchised by state power, outcasted, attacked in their own society due to the political decision of the ruling party. So to broaden my platform, I decided to compete in Miss World competition, whose motto was beauty with a purpose. That turned out to be not so much truth, you know. To my greatest surprise, in Canada, I was crowned Miss World in 2015. Miss World Canada. My resolve and determination were immediately tested. My father, who still lives in China, was threatened by state security agents. They wanted him to pressure me to give up my human rights concerns. I nearly quit. I really wanted to ask myself if it is worth endangering my own family to speak up for people who I didn't even know. But I realized silence helps no one. Silence feeds terror. for speaking up for people who are jailed for their beliefs and organ harvesting. I was declared persona non grata and barred from competing in China, and they denounced me on China's state-run media, attacked my family, attacked me, banned my grandparents from coming out, banned my mother from going to China so she might not see her parents again in her lifetime. And my father was also banned from leaving China. My experience is not unique. All around the world, Chinese citizens continue to feel the cold iron arm of Communist Party. The party has specialized agencies to ensure that Chinese people like me living abroad continue to adhere to the correct political views. If people step out of line, we risk endangering our families back in China. And it's not just the Chinese people who face this pressure. As China has grown more confident and assertive, it has also become more brazen in its human rights abuse internationally. The recent extraterritorial abduction of Hong Kong booksellers shows this. So too do the televised forced confession of foreign dissidents and NGO workers, which almost certainly was extracted under threat of torture. And this is to say nothing about the Western journalists and academics who risk being denied visa to China if they report on sensitive topics. News outlets that provide critical coverage of the party risk being barred from China's market entirely. Even Hollywood studio is facing the same pressure to censor and modify their scripts to placate Beijing, trading artistic integrity for market access. So how does this affect Africa? This might seem like a problem a world away, but it's closer than you think. When I stepped off of the plane in Johannesburg a few days ago, the first thing I saw was an advertisement in Chinese of the Bank of China. China has been Africa's largest trading partner since year 2000. On top of this, Chinese government has given millions of dollars in aid to dictatorship across Africa, effectively buying the support of these regimes and enabling them to further oppress their own people. China is even exporting their own surveillance system and censorship tools, which they have perfected over decades of dictatorship. But today I came here to tell you a message that I believe in. Dictators like China, like Russia, they look like giant and indestructible. But they are so fragile. They are so weak inside. Imagine the largest population on earth, a country, took the trouble to denounce a beauty queen who was 25 years old and denounce her the highest level of diplomatic punishment. How frightened and insecure she must be inside. And that is why all these dictators are working together to make themselves feel stronger. And that's why we are here today. I want to end with a quote that I would like to share with my fellow Oslo Freedom Forum speakers, the courageous staff, and all of you. It's a quote that one of my friends who's been recently denied from entering Hong Kong, he's British, have told me. It's a mystic. Little light drive away so much darkness. But when light is joined to light, yours to mine, mine to others, dance of flame, each so small and intricately so beautiful, yet together, dance of flame, it will show that hope is no longer an illusion. Evil, injustice, cruelty do not have the final word. So I hope you will join us today. Take action. Thank you.